everybody. Sorry for the delay today. My daughter wasn't feeling good. Was trying to figure out if she could go to school or not. So that's why my delay of starting this video today. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Market's gapping up this morning. Basically, a couple things happened. Um, Trump had a pick for Treasury Secretary. I believe his name is Scott Bessent. And basically, he's gonna basically try to take away the deficit, and he's targeting. I'm reading something here. He's proposing a 3-3-3 policy targeting 3% GDP growth, cutting the deficit to 3% of GDP by 2028, and boosting oil output by 3 million barrels a day. So it reassured investors. Okay, so he's trying to preserve the dollar's global reserve status, implementing tax cuts and defending tariffs as strategic economic tools. Okay, so what's happening this morning is the 10-year yield is falling. People are buying bonds. The market's gapping up. Okay, then you have the Netanyahu, I believe, agreed to a ceasefire with Hamas. That is sending gold lower on that news in silver. So, a couple big things going on with America, and then geopolitical stuff going on this morning. And so the markets are liking right now this pick for Treasury Secretary. That's what's been going on. Again, I apologize for the delay. Now, already today, I don't expect much this week. It's Thanksgiving. Okay. So I can already tell the volume this morning is not good. It's like at 60 something percent of normal volume. This is to be expected. I don't expect this to be great at all these next couple days. All right, so I might be sticking away today. Again, I'm going to analyze today. We'll see what's going on in the markets, but it's not the best environment. All right, but we can still talk about what's going on in the markets. Okay, so without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the markets, along with gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That's how I choose to look at the markets, and that's my edge. Okay, it's all laid out for me. I can find trades and structure using these tools. Okay, so obviously, once the market opens, it's new data, and that's where I decide to put risk on or not, right? And so hopefully, you guys join me, right? I'm trying to reach 200. I'm at 199 subscriptions. Okay, almost there to reach the 200. And if you're new, had a nice little chat going on Friday morning. That was very nice. A nice surprise. I don't usually have that many participants chatting, so that was nice to interact with some of you guys. Um, so, like I was saying, I do this every day, normally at 8:10 a.m. All right, so today was a little different. Like I said, I apologize, and hopefully you could subscribe, set alert, have a cup of coffee, tea, water, get your recap from the markets from me. We'll get you the news, the economic calendar, what's going on with the daily charts, what's going on with futures, and that's the main event. Usually happens already at 8:30. That's where I go over long and short trade scenarios. And then after that, the market opens, brand new analysis happens, okay, based on my system, and then I decide to put risk on or off on that day, right? Does it align with my blueprint from the morning? And then, like I said, right, so you can see my trades, the educational value ones, and I post them. All right, I post them with my trading criteria on X. That's at Gonzo719. Also, check out my YouTube shorts, and you can check out my TikTok, Gonzo719 Trader. All right, you can see a lot of trades that I took in November. You can see why I took them. I think it's pretty educational, and you can leave a comment or a question, and I will get back to you. All right, if you don't understand something. And of course, if you enjoy my content, please smash that like button. That would mean a lot to me. Okay, now let's go over to the futures and see what's moving markets today. Okay. All right. So it looks like Ether's getting a lot of love today. Good morning, Chief. It looks like Ether is up 5.67%. Ethereum up 5.67%, followed by the Russell. Now the 10-year yield is down today, 2.13%. Remember that 4.47 yield resistance? It just needed some type of catalyst like this Scott Bessent pick from Trump to people to start buying bonds. Okay. So let's get into it. 30-year bonds, look at right there, showing you right there. It's up 1.07%. The Dow is up 0.77, Nasdaq's up 0.59, ES up 0.58, the dollar is down 0.27, crude is down 0.46. Remember what I said about the Netanyahu ceasefire, right? That's going to make crude pull back a little bit. Gold's pulling back on that news as well, right? We still have Putin in Ukraine, but geopolitically, that ceasefire is going to make gold pull back. Bitcoin is down 1.48. Silver is down 1.59. 10-year yield, like I said, is down 2.13%. The VIX is down 2.56%. It's down to 14.83. No longer at a 16, right? We're gapping up this morning. We're even rising more as I speak right now. So what I would expect this week is like a melt up right into Thanksgiving. Like I said, I've been keep saying this, the options market, and this isn't even rocket science. The options market, if you look at it, it's very bullish, but it's typically very bullish, right? It's the end of the year. So it's typical Santa Claus rally. It generally just happens every year. So options market, if you look at the gamma levels and all that stuff, it's just showing you how much activity there is higher. Okay? So this is not a shock. And all you need is a little push from some kind of news to help. Right? And that's what we're getting. So let's look at the Mag 7 Plus here. Who's leading the pack here? Coinbase. Coinbase is up. Now that's interesting. Coinbase is up 2.42% while Bitcoin is down. Tesla is up 2.22%. AMD's up 1.6. Amazon's up 1.06. JP Morgan up 0.99. Google's up 0.84. Boeing up 0.78. I mean, it's green all over the charts here. Apple up 0.69. Berkshire Hathaway up 0.66. Broadcom up 0.62. Meta's up 0.47. GE up 0.47. Netflix up 0.47. Microsoft up 0.37. Eli Lilly up 0.12. And Nvidia is up 0.12 as well. So Nvidia is not getting the love here today. All right. Let's go to top sectors. And we have Snowflake. Snowflake was getting hammered for a while, and I believe just got upgrades today. They had earnings. They are up 3.86%. United Healthcare is up 1.55%. And healthcare has been finally trying to make a little recovery. It was in a big downtrend. Okay. Goldman Sachs up 1.30. Uber's up 1.05. Home Depot's up 1.09 or 1.01. Salesforce up. And so, like, I'm going to go down here. Let's see here. There's no laggards. None of laggards to speak of. So this is like typical, like I said, melt up, you know, this Treasury pick is showing here in the markets. Let's look at the swing trade list real quick. And who's leading the pack here? Bath and Body Works up 19.44%. Hoods up 6.85. Supermicrocomputers continues to rise, up 6.79. Hood up 6 points. I already mentioned Hood. Soundhound's up 6.18. Mara up 5.38. Humana up 4.66. MicroStrategy, even after that dip, is still charging ahead, up 4.3. Palantir got an upgrade, it's up 4.15. Unity Software up 0.37. I'll just go over the 3%ers. There's so many stocks that are up. AI is up 3.45, SoFi up 3.27, and Celsius up 3.04. Okay, going to laggard. There's not a lot here. Taiwan Semiconductors down 1.63. Bitcoin ETF down 1.45. Lockheed Martin, I guess with the ceasefire, Netanyahu, down 1.15. And that same thing with gold junior miners down 1.14, gold down 0.95, Macy's down 0.92. That's what you got for laggards. Not a lot at all. Not a lot at all. All right. Now moving on to the sectors, the guts of the market. It's pretty much going to be all green. Leading the pack here is discretionary. That's your Tesla, your Amazon, your Home Depot. Technology second is up 0.65. That's your Nvidia, your Apple, your Microsoft. All right. Then you got your financials. That's your Berkshire Hathaway, your JP Morgan, your Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, that stuff. And then semiconductors. That's your Nvidia, your AMD, your Qualcomm. Okay. Healthcare up 0.46. Industrials up 0.44. Communications up 0.39. Staples up 0.32. So this is a broad market strength today. Okay. Broad market. All right, I think we can go over to our economic calendar for the week. Like I said, this week's Thanksgiving. So large orders hitting the tape. We're continuing to rise as I'm speaking right now. Large orders hitting that tape. This is definitely very broad rally. Right on time for Thanksgiving to go into Christmas. Gapping up. Now let's look at the economic calendar. So today you had Chicago Fed came out, right? That usually doesn't move markets. You have Dallas Fed at 10:30. For this week, Tuesday, we have S&P Schiller home price at 9 a.m. Consumer confidence at 10 a.m. All right, FOMC minutes on Tuesday at 2 p.m. All right, then you have API crude. Wednesday, day before Thanksgiving, you get core PCE and personal income. And what else do we got that day? Pending home sales and crude. That's what's going on this week. Okay. Now, we get into some news here. So Macy's. All right. This explains the Macy's fall. Macy's stock fell 4.4 after the retail giant announced a delay in its third quarter release, citing an accounting issue. Also, sales in its preliminary results disappointed. All right, Bath and Body Works stock soared over 10% after the personal care and home fragrance company raised its full-year guidance after reporting strong third quarter results. Palantir. Palantir stock rose 2.8 after Wedbush lifted its price target on the big data analytics firm, saying it's time for the broader software space to get in on the AI party. All right, Merck stock rose 1.1 after the U.S. drug maker said its drug Winrevair helped significantly reduce the death of patients with a rare condition which caused high blood pressure in the lungs. Snowflake stock rose 3.5 after Wedbush upgraded its rating on the cloud-based data storage company to outperform from neutral. Procter & Gamble stock rose 0.5 after D.A. Davidson upgraded its stance on the consumer goods giant to a buy from neutral, citing positive sales from the important China market. That's what's going on there. Okay, let's move over to more news. Talked about Macy's. The Google U.S. antitrust trial over online ad empire draws to a close. The U.S. Department of Justice will make its final argument that Google illegally dominated online advertising technology, seeking a second antitrust win against the company. All right. All right. Trump prepares wide-ranging energy plan to boost gas exports. Oil drilling sources say Donald Trump's transition team is putting together a wide-ranging energy package to roll out within days of taking office that would approve export permits for new liquefied natural gas projects and increase oil drilling off the U.S. coast on federal lands, according to sources familiar with the plans. Okay, let's see here. U.S. finalizes awards to BAE Systems, Rocket Lab for semiconductor chips. The U.S. Commerce Department said it's finalizing nearly $60 million in government subsidies for BAE Systems to build chips used in jets and satellites, and for Rocket Lab to build compound semiconductors used in satellites. And wow, no wonder why Rocket Labs right now is up 8.73%. Wow. All right. Now here we go with the Bessent pick. So Wall Street advanced on investor optimism over Scott Bessent's nomination as Treasury Secretary. Bessent's nomination pulled down Treasury yields and the dollar, with investors expecting that he will keep a leash on U.S. deficits and deliver a moderate approach on tariffs. Okay? Now, also, gold prices declined as investors booked profits following a 3-week high. Oil prices edged down with mounting tensions between Western powers and major oil producers Russia and Iran, raising fears of supply disruptions and keeping a floor under prices. Okay, let's look at any other news. I'm just going over to see anything else here. Let's see, Nvidia. The company's CEO Jensen Huang said on Saturday that the global cooperation technology will continue even if the incoming U.S. administration imposes stricter export controls on advanced computing products. Cooperation is going to continue. I don't know what's going to happen in the new administration, but whatever happens, we'll balance simultaneously compliance with laws and policies, continue to advance our technology, and support and serve our customers all over the world. Wang said the goal of AI is not for training. The goal of AI is for inference. All right. Man, big orders. Man, this market is charging. Jeez. Um, Talked about Rocket Labs. Let's see, Walmart. Walmart, the head of the company's health and wellness division, who oversaw the company's failed push into clinics, is leaving after less than 2 years in the role, and an internal memo seen by Reuters showed. Brian Setzer, who has been executive vice president since February 2023, the division, which accounts for about 12.4 of Walmart's U.S. sales, is departing to pursue an opportunity in his hometown of Nashville, according to the memo sent on Friday by John Furner. Okay. It says Setzer will be replaced by Kyle Kennard, who currently leads Walmart's neighborhood markets division in the United States. Okay. Let's see. Boeing. JP Morgan cuts target price to 190 from 195. Who else here? MicroStrategy. Canaccord Genuity raises target price to 510 from 300. All right. I think that's some news, right? We got the news out of the way. Let's go to some upgrades and downgrades here. Okay, let's go some upgrades here. Hood upgraded, equal weight to overweight, 24 to 55 price target. Procter & Gamble, talked about that. Upgrade, neutral to buy, 160 to 209. Snowflake, talked about that as well. Neutral to outperform, price target of 190. Trade Desk, upgrade, sell to neutral, price target 115. Okay, downgrades. So let's look at the downgrades here. Baidu, downgraded. Okay, Five Below, downgraded, outperformed to market perform. Barrick Gold, downgraded, sector outperformed to neutral. Neo, downgraded to a sell from a neutral. Wow. Block, outperformed to market perform. All right, let's go to initiations today. Initiations, ARM, initiated a buy. Mara initiated equal weight. Nasdaq Exchange on outperform. Constellation Brands a neutral. TAP Molson, that's Molson Coors Beverage that are neutral. Okay. Price target changes. Let's see. Let's see what target raises here. Wix got a target raise. Palantir target raise 57 to 75. Palantir target raise 55 to 75. ServiceNow, wow, that's a lofty price there from 1,075 to 1150. MicroStrategy target raise, we talked about that earlier. Domino's Pizza target raised 475, 515. CrowdStrike 325 to 385. Salesforce target raise 325 to 375. Chewy target raise 35 to 40. Now we got some target lowers, nothing to really see there. All right. The juice, let's see. I don't think that anything has. You just see Israeli PM Prime Minister Netanyahu approves Lebanon ceasefire deal in principle. So that's what's going on there. We talked about that already. All right. I think we can go over to some daily charts now. And this market is just pushed up higher, boy. Pushed up higher. All right. Let's look at those daily charts together. Now, if you've been listening to me lately, I kept saying like them options market says we're going higher, right? So it's pretty much playing out, right? So look at the daily charts here. These wicks. Boy, oh boy, these wicks. Right? So anytime this market would go down, it just get bought up, right? And holding this up, this trend line here. Holding the 20, right? We held last month's highs, right? And the previous week's lows. And you can see we're right inside the previous week's range. This is what happened last week. Okay? Where are we now? Unbelievable. 599.50. We're all the way up here. Almost at 600. Now 600 is a large gamma strike in gamma. Okay, that's been large for a while now. And those are like magnets. And look, we're probably going to hit that today. Probably going to hit that today. Okay. Let's look at the live look of futures. And you can see this push up right now coming into a previous week's highs here at 60.40. Now all-time highs are 60.53.25 in futures. So you can just see it was lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Right? Now you can see already because in futures this week started. So you can see this is last week's low and all the way down here. And now, we're getting back, see if we can go to the previous week's highs, which would be 2 weeks ago. Okay, so that's what's going on with futures. Let's look at the Qs. Now, Qs were relatively weaker. And you can see they barely got out of balance here. Barely got out of balance. They did hold last month's highs. 20-day simple movement. All these wicks. Okay, we have an uptrend line here. You can see this uptrend. It's been held intact here. Okay, and you have a gap here. So we're gapping up now. Where are we at? 509.50. Jeez, 509.50. All the way up here. So gapped up into a gap, which we've been doing lately, right? Here's could be a possible target around 512, 513 with that downtrend line. Who knows, right? You don't really know. Let's look at the live look of futures. And you can see we finally take taking this large selling candle out right now. Okay, we could possibly go to, I'm not saying today, but key level would be what is that? 21265. We can make a stop there. All right, so just moving up. You can see a gap right here. So gapped up when it opened last night. So that's what we're looking at here. All right, now we can move on. Look at triple-headed monster here and see that 10-year yield. Finally pulling back here, right? There it is. There's that resistance. It kept hitting its head on it, right? Well, with this Treasury pick, people are buying bonds. Now you can see this would move up, consolidate, move up, consolidate, and then it couldn't break this level. And now, if you start to pull back, this could really set it pushing down, right? Which isn't going to be bad for equities, right? That isn't going to be bad for equities, right? So, yeah, that's right, Chief. The 10-cent call. Uh, but the only reason for that was the pick. Had nothing to do with technicals. It was that Treasury pick. So, um, yeah. So this is your 10-year yield. Finally getting a pullback here, and that just means people are buying bonds. Okay, trusting this new pick in what he's gonna do. Okay, really, he's looking to get a hold on the debt. So that's what's driving yields lower today. All right, we're right here. All right, like I said, if you break this support, you could really starting to get lower here. Okay, now let's look at that dollar. That dollar is getting some. Look at that wick up here, and now it's boom, getting some selling today. Now remember, um, for equities, you don't want a too super strong dollar for equities and commodities, right? You don't want super strong dollar. So um, that's just how it works, right? For exports or imports, actually exports, my bad, because that makes it more expensive. So let's look at the VIX. So that fear gauge, right, was the hedge gauge before the election. This is falling back, right? Now with this Treasury pick, but people buying bonds, uh, 14 VIX. Yeah, that's today with a 14 VIX in the lower volume. I'm not expecting much volatility. Okay, so that's your triple head monster. All right, like I said, we're going to analyze. You finally got some type of range to work with in this market. But like I said, it's lower volume. The big boys most likely are away or like already on vacation. All right. So let's go to the main event here. To market profile and volume profile here. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. All right. So clear gap up. I gotta see here. I think it broke one of my supply zones here just now. I gotta get rid of that now. Yep. All right. So this market. Get my little marker out. Okay. Hold on. I don't know where this marker is. Let me try that again. Good morning, Pancake. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Not sure if you just joined or you've been listening the whole time, but welcome. All right, let's look at these markets together. And we'll zoom it in a little bit today. All right. Now, you can see the gap, right? So, on Friday, that was a little tight little range on Friday. That was a little tight range, right? Opened up right here, right there, and really had that one little sell, and then it would kind of did this all day. Closed here towards the highs, right? And then you get the Trump pick, and we open up in a gap on Sunday at 6 p.m. All right, so here's Friday's highs, Friday's lows. Here's the overnight low. Here's the overnight high. So we have a gap. We have a gap. Okay. So a couple levels you want to just note of when you're gapping up like this is 60.19 is the 50% retracement of the overnight. 60.19 got some single prints here. We were kind of consolidating like this for a while, and then boom, that's just happened. This just started to break out here. So that's what we're looking at now. Where did we go? Right, we were hanging out here, which would be expected. You can see this orange volume, right? Well, that used to be the most traded price of the month. So whenever that happens and we're still by it, I put a level on it and I call it a composite high volume node, which it is. So it's around 60.15 used to be the most traded price of the month. That's where we were kind of hanging out at, right? And now we kind of move up. And let's see what we can do. Can we? As long as we hold above that, it's pretty bullish. Okay, pretty bullish. So, like I said, very. You don't normally come in normally and you gap up on a Sunday. You don't normally do that, okay? Because this is only really because of the Trump pick, okay? So, gap rules, right? The most bullish case is a gap and go. Obviously, the market can keep going. Second most, you pull back, you fail to fill the gap, which would be anywhere in here. If you don't fill it, you can go higher, right? Number three is if you fill the gap, that would be 50, 59.93, and go higher. And the weakest, not the weakest, but the least bullish outcome is if you start to pull back into the range of Friday. So of Friday, you that would be a sign that okay, the buyers aren't as strong. If you go back into the prior range, doesn't mean you can't still go up. That's just how you got to gauge the gap. Now this is very bullish. I mean, we came up, and you can see in price action, we came back a little bit, held these single prints, and now you have a poor high here, which should get broken. Should get farther movement up. All right. Like I said, today is a weird day to gap up on a Sunday. You have weak volume, and everything in the market is up. It's a broad market, kind of like push, right? Who's going to be selling this right now? I mean, someone will, but it's definitely like has melt up all over it. So certain levels we got to look at now. So like I said, it's a little different when you're gapping up from a Sunday. Because now, look, I mean, the key level right now is 6,005. That's the overnight lows. And you got to really look at this composite high volume node of 60.15. I would say the market just has to hold that. Okay? The market just has to hold that. Now, one thing that I forgot to mention was one of my scenarios on Friday, and I hesitated to be honest with you on it, but it worked. Remember, I was talking about that 59.70. See that most traded price of the overnight? You see how the market pulled right back into it and got bought. Right? See this market? It just broke that poor high up here. It's just a broad market rally. So this could just trend up today and melt up. All right. So and then one thing, let's just look at that 60-15. Maybe I can show you an easier on the eyes why it's a big node here. Right here. And then you're not seeing that. Let's see here. Just trying to give you guys an example. That 60-15 is right here. So see where we're down here. See this large node here. High volume node. Right? And look where we're back. We're back right to this node now. So how the market works, right? These high volume nodes, composite high volume nodes, like all these big spikes, right, are where the markets are range bound. And they're like basing, basically. You can call it basing, staying in a range, consolidating, all the same stuff. And whenever they do that, right, once they get out of the base, they break out and they trend, right? So now you're up to another composite high volume node, and either the market's gonna come here like a magnet and kind of hang out a little bit. If it comes and it starts to break out, it can make another high volume node and do that, or return back to here, because that's all markets do, right? That's all they do is look, consolidate, trend, consolidate, go down, consolidate, go up, consolidate, go down, consolidate, go. That's all the market does. It's either trending or consolidating. That's the only things the market does. But these high volume nodes, when you have like a volume profile in your chart, are very helpful because you can just go, oh, all right, we should stop there, right? Another way to look at it, right here, it's my little express chart, all right? You can look at it here and see, here it is. There's that spike, right? 60-15. Now you can see, this is a monthly profile, so you can see this is the most traded price of this month, November, 60.24, right? So we're at 60.33 right now. So like I said, what do we do here? We could literally just boom and make some new levels, right? So like I said, that's how the market works. We can return back. Just trying to give you guys another look at why this level is important. Okay. And it's, I don't see it. I mean, I could just see this melting up today, really. All right, so let's just get into scenarios. Like I said, these aren't like I said, a gap up on a Sunday. So we work with what we have, though, right? All right, as far as the bull case, I'm looking at this. I wouldn't chase this at all if it just keeps going up. It can go on without me. All right, but where do we have volume, right? Right at this high volume node of 60.15 or 60.16, right? 66,005 is the overnight lows. There's probably a demand zone here. I just didn't have time to put it on because it just happened. So this is what I would look for. You want to stay bullish, and remember, you have thin volume here. So I could see us coming up. Now, there's a lot of supply here. I could see us coming up, correcting, coming into here, and then people try to selling it, and then it holds, and then you can melt up. Maybe up to, what is this? Let's see what that level that is. It's a previous, looks like a previous weekly high. Let's see if I can get this. I don't know why it's not letting me. Yeah, right here, this level right here. 60.53. Maybe we go there today. Melt up there. All right. So I'll leave that there. Now, Yeah, that's probably the only thing I would like because you hold this level. Now, otherwise, you got the gap below. Now you have a gap here. If you start filling that gap, yeah, that's different. But this is really all I would really want to look at today. Now, as far as the bear, we are in a supply zone right now, and we almost taken this supply out. They overlap a little bit. Okay, so it isn't the worst trade, but it's just you got to think about the broad market rally. Do I want to be a bear on this or a bull? Right? But there's always a chance for a bearish move. Okay, so what I could see happening here. Now look, you're 100% net long in the overnight. All right, people are long from here, and from here, and from here, and from here. So the longs are getting paid. Okay, longs are getting paid. So and you got thin volume here, single prints. So this is very viable. Like I said though, would I want to be on this side? Probably not, but it just has to have like you just talk about. I'm not talking about overbought. Just talking about emotions. Okay, because if you're long and you see this come up into the supply and all of a sudden, boom, you get starting selling. Well, there's not a lot of support here, and you're going to go back to the 60-15, the 60-15. Okay, and what do we do when we come here? If you cut through it, hold under it. Now you're talking about the overnight low. Remember, everyone's long on the overnight. If you start to cut through that, yes, you most likely will fill that gap at 59.93. Happens to be last week's highs. Okay. And now this is where you go into like 59.85 is the most traded price of um, Friday. Let's say you push through that. Yeah, you're probably going to revisit maybe even the lows of Friday. Now, like I said, I don't know if that happens, but that's very possible. That's very possible. Now, it looks like 59.76 right here in the 24-hour chart has some nice volume here. So that could stop that if we sold off. And you got a big demand zone here. So that's kind of all I'm seeing, to be honest with you, right now in the ES. If we move over to the NASDAQ, all right, gapping up into a supply. So we're already in supply zone here right now. And you can see the prior gap still was never filled here. So we're gapping up and making a new gap. Okay, making a new gap here. So let's look at it. Now, what did the Qs do? Wow, it really, to the letter here, pulled back right to that 12-hour demand. Look at that. That was the 12-hour demand level I had and literally hit that like a tick and just rocketed off of it. So pretty crazy how that works. And we closed up here, right? So if we're looking at levels, now our most traded price of the week is 206.50. This happens to be the most traded price of the 24-hour in the month. Now, as far because these are rolling levels, as far as the most traded price of the month, it's flipped back to this node up here at like just call it 212. 212. Okay. So a lot of trading. You can see a lot of trading volume here, a lot of trading volume here. So could it be headed for this? Very likely, right? Remember I said these high volume nodes are magnets. This very likely could be headed right for here. Okay. I would say that's probably very likely. And we're gapping up, right? So here's the gap fill. Here's Friday's highs, 208.80. Here's the Friday's lows. Here's the opening of Sunday night. All right, right there. And overnight highs now in supply at 210.45. Okay. So like I said, gapped up into a gap, making a new gap, right? It's going to be the same story here right now as I'm looking at it as the ES. Okay. The only difference is in structure. There's a big difference. Now, um, ES, remember, it was at that 60-15 level. It was hanging out there, and now it's above it. But like I said, it's in supply. Um, the Nasdaq doesn't have too much in front of it to not make it here. See, it didn't just break out and push through a high volume node. It's just gapping up and heading towards this. So it's a little different. Okay. So like I said, we don't need to go over gap rules because I already did that. So like I said, it's very similar structure, structure wise as far as the trading scenario, not structure wise because I just told you the difference. Okay. So let's do it. The long and short trade scenarios here. And it's going to be the same, like I said, structure wise on the long and short. Obviously, different levels. So in the bull case, 209.62, this area right here. It's the most traded price of the overnight. All right. That is your level to defend for bulls. And you got very thin volume, just like we did in the ES, right? Or 100% net long in the overnight. You know? So this area, I want to see bulls step up. Okay, now we're in supply. So we're in a supply zone. We're at the top of the range. This is kind of begging for oh, that was a little sharp move. It's kind of begging for some type of correction. All right. Now, what do you want to see? This is pretty setting up for a nice correction. So I would like to see it open up, kind of push up, go through the open, lower high, and then you can test this area. All right, and if bulls step up here, knock some of the froth over the overnight, and you kind of pull back and you hold and you hold. I think we can maybe melt up. I don't know if we melt up to 212 today, but we could. We could. All right, that's what I was, honestly, that's what I'd be looking for. Right? Now, of course, for my style, if it just went like this today, then I don't, you know, I probably don't participate. Okay? I mean, it could also do this, and let's say there's not a level there yet, but it could do this, and that could be a pullback to get into. Okay? But that's about all for the long side. Now, for the short side, it is pretty ripe for a little correction. Now, this is not bearish, but like I said, longs are getting paid from here, from here, from here, and from here. You're gapping up, you're 100% net long. It's kind of a recipe for correction. Now, see, we're starting to come off the highs right now, and you have this very thin volume. So, in a bearish case, I'd like to push up, take that overnight high off, come through the open, lower high, lower high. Shouldn't be much support in this thin volume. You come and test 209.62, this area. Remember I said bulls have to defend it? Well, if you break through that, you can touch the overnight lows. Okay, happened to also be last week's highs, 209.07. Okay, where are you going to go next? Gap fill, 208.80. And then I think you make a stop here, right at that 208.20. Now, of course, this can break that and go all the way down here. Does it all the way go down to 650? It's a big level. I don't know. But I'm just saying that could cascade. I don't know if that's realistic today with the broad market being strong. I don't see, but I have to give the scenario, right? That's what I have to do. It's just a scenario. So, that will be it for me today. Sorry for the lateness. And the market's going to open in 3 minutes. So, have our plans. And sorry for the lateness today. My daughter was having some issues with her, like throat and stuff. So, everybody have a great day. All right, and of course, looking for the 199 to go to 200 for my subscribers. So, subscribe and set an alert if you haven't already. Hopefully, you enjoyed the recap and the news and everything I talked about today. All right, and smash that like button if you can. Like I said, as always, I post my trading videos on X, and you can find that at Gonzo719. Also, my YouTube Shorts. Check that out. And you can find me on Gonzo719 Trader on TikTok. All right, everybody have a great day. Stay patient. Remember, this is low volume. Like I said, I'm not expecting much today, but everybody have a great day. And I'll see everybody tomorrow.